Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to a pollen-covered episode of A Guide for Parenting, a podcast where me, Jason,
and me, Jennifer,
have a few drinks
and talk shit about our kids.
Please follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Guide to Poor Parenting.
And Facebook and TikTok at Poor Parent Pod.
Yes. Maybe someday I'll get us on Blue Sky or whatever that new Twitter alternative is.
I have no idea what you're talking about, so I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm not trying anything new. I barely go on any of the things that I have. Facebook is only usually just for memories and birthdays.
Yeah. I was, the other day I was posting some videos to Instagram and then I share them over to our Facebook account. Uh-huh. And I messed up somewhere along the way and I set up a Facebook page instead of a Facebook account for Guide to Poor Parenting. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the difference is. And when I log into Facebook under Guide to Poor Parenting at gmail.com, it logs me into the page, but it looks so different than like my personal profile, and I don't know how to use it as well. It doesn't give me the same options. I can't tag you and the stuff. Right. And the only reason I tag you is just so that your friends will see it and maybe listen. Right. Because I think my personal profile is set to private. Right.
And mine as well.
But I'm thinking of turning it back onto public. But I was like, I want to go get rid of all my personal photos and stuff like that. Yeah. But I have so many, and I was looking at Facebook. I was playing around with Facebook. I'm like, I don't see a way to get rid of pictures in batch. You have to do it individually, and I have hundreds of pictures.
Could you not just try to start a whole nother account to make it not a page?
Maybe, but I would have to create another email address because when I log in under so it's such a pain. So I'm either I get rid, but I don't really use my personal Facebook account that much. Right. And I post all our videos and the images we create on there too.
I would just have to forget to tag you in all of the pictures of us doing all of our fun stuff.
But I don't think that would be a problem. I've seen other
with kids and stuff, we don't really want to put that on there.
True.
So
yeah, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but yeah,
I'm sure maybe there's contact support you can maybe get in touch with.
I don't know.
If you have the time, because you are a full-time daddy and a full-time employee and
part-time podcaster.
Full-time podcast. No, not really full-time. And you got grandbabies and everything else in life. So yeah. When would you have the time?
Oh my Jesus. I actually asked Jessica from Shenanigans, who's been on the podcast twice now. I was like, would you take over our social media shit? Because she's so good at it, but she's even busier than I am. She's got a full-time job as a teacher and then a full-time job at fucking Shenanigans.
And as a parent as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, luckily her kids are all older, but even still. Mm-hmm. Ugh. Well, enough of my woes. How's your week been, Miss Jennifer?
I'm just going to talk about last night.
Okay, yeah.
Because last night was fun. Shenanigans had a
savory cinema.
Mm-hmm. So we took baby girl Kalia. It was kind of expensive, but it was kind of worth it, I think.
I had fun, and I think she did too.
Anything that sometimes, it's Mel Brooks, so there's a lot of innuendos that just go over kids' heads. And I wasn't trying to explain those, but, the white men had regular combs and then the black men had a pick. And she's like, is that racist? And I was like,
it's a race joke.
Well, it's a race joke. But, it's...
Yeah, they're not trying to be mean.
No, they're not being mean. It's just supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
And so sometimes during it, I would talk to her, and she ended up with the most of our food because I don't like celery.
So just what Jennifer's talking about, the Savory Cinema, they play a movie, and then as certain scenes happen, they bring out food according to what happened on the screen. Right. So when we were watching it and Pizza the Hut came on the screen, they gave us pizza rolls. Right.
And then we had popcorn to begin with and some candies.
They had Milky Ways because of the galaxy.
Right. Yep. And then they had... I don't know what the celery and the...
It was a yogurt. Oh. The dip sauce was a yogurt thing.
I gotcha. So that was when, may the Schwartz be with you, And then
They gave us chicken
Oh no, the chicken.
It was a chicken parmesan, but on the menu it said ludicrous chicken.
Okay.
So, but it was like chicken nuggets with marinara sauce and some melted mozzarella.
I mean, those were good.
Yeah.
I liked them.
Clea didn't, but it's okay.
Yeah. And then trail mix, I think. And I didn't understand the trail mix.
I think if they were supposed to put out menus so we'd understand it better what we're supposed to be getting. But I think if we'd seen that, we might have understood better what the hell was supposed to be happening.
Right. And then the drinks.
Yeah. There's a scene where what's his name? Scroob sniffs Perrier.
Yeah.
And so they gave us a Perrier cocktail.
Yeah.
Or not cocktail, but like, I don't know, some sort of like Shirley Temple or some shit like that with Perrier in it.
Yeah. And I had done the alcohol one.
Yeah.
So like the first drink I got was like a coffee with something alcoholic in it. And I drank that. And then I don't know. I didn't know if they knew that I was the drinker because you could barely see the stamp on my hand. Yeah. So when we got that green drink, I was like, I don't like this one.
Yeah.
And so I gave it to Clea, and Clea was like, Auntie J, I think there might be alcohol in this one, so I don't want it. And I was like, I didn't take. But then again, I'm so used to it. I'm like, thank you for telling me, baby girl. I apologize. And I just didn't give her any more drinks after that because I was like, I don't know if it does or does not. Yeah. And so I just drank them all and then had like lots of bottles of water because with the food, it was just little bitty cups.
Yeah.
So it was like not enough because it was a lot of pizza rolls, a lot of chicken, a lot of popcorn, and I was just thirsty.
Yeah, it was very salty stuff.
Yeah. And so, but watching it and hearing the audience laugh and giggle and, just be silly and I think she had fun. She seemed to have fun, and we got little goodie bags at the end
with combs.
Yep. And so I had a good time. It was fun. It was way past my birthday.
Your birthday?
My
no, your
bedtime.
Not yet.
It starts with a B. But usually, like, I don't like to stay out past my bedtime because that's technically like Wesley's bedtime too, which is not lately. But he actually didn't
turn into a little monster.
He did not turn into a monster. But I also like quickly got ready for bed and just ignored him and just ran to my room as soon as I got done with my bathroom to hide from him. But while I was I don't know if I was dressing or brushing my teeth, he kicked the door in again. And this time...
I don't think you told anybody that he's kicked in the door before.
Sorry. Well...
if you want me to take it out, I can. But.
It's all right. He kicked in my bedroom door, and he had kicked it in earlier to steal a Coke out of my fridge.
She has a little personal fridge in her
in my bedroom to hide my Mexican Cokes because of my headaches. He was stealing them. And he had gotten one earlier because he got mad when I took the water reservoir thingy from my old Keurig because he had used an old pod that I had used a week ago because I don't use the pod at home at all. I only use them on the weekends.
Right. Because
I got a Keurig at work, and it's just easier to carry that without, spilling it all over myself and stuff like that. So he got mad, and that's when he kicked in the door and got a Coke, and I'm just like, and then I'm catching him in the act again last night, trying to get another one, and I'm just like, why? It is 10 o'clock at night, I want to say, because by the time I got here and got home, because it was like a 2-hour show kind of, because with the intermission and things like that. But he does not understand that one thing he perceives as a bad action, he needs to do as a bad action.
And that didn't make any sense. Say that again.
So, like, me taking or finding the vapes in his room
Okay.
gives him permission
Oh,
to go
steal.
into my room and take my stuff.
Yeah. He's got a very simplistic version of like how things are supposed to be.
Right. He doesn't understand you don't do that because you're 14 and you're not supposed to have vapes.
Yep.
And I'm just like, first off, where the fuck are you getting these vapes? But whatever. But I had a great time. I did not go to bed until past my bedtime, but it was worth it. And yeah, got up today, and he had told me, because I had asked him like 5 times, you going to go to church tomorrow? You going to go to church tomorrow? Yeah. And then he doesn't go to church. But I had to fix my door because I could not close it.
Ugh.
So I had to put the dresser in front of the door again, and that's hard on my body to try to move that dresser. And
maybe we should get you a little doorstop.
well, I hammered it. Like I went and bought a hammer after I dropped him off here.
Yeah.
And which hurt like a motherfucker
Yeah.
because I am right-handed,
And she has a broken pinky.
which we have not talked about as well. That Wesley did. And so that hurt a whole lot. So that's why I'm trying to leave it open, like get some air on it. But when I did that, it closes now.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Mom was like, go do what we did to the closet and just get 2 locks, one from inside, and then just use the key to.
Yeah.
But then I'm just thinking he's going to do a here's Johnny like he did with his bedroom door, because he opened the little
Help break the panel out.
panel that's like in the middle of the door. He punched it so much that he opened it up, and
Yeah.
so I don't know. It is what it is. But
It is what it is.
I did have a great time with baby girl.
Good.
And I love doing fun things with her. Like I took her, I don't know if I told this, but I took her to see Sonic 3 and she was so excited about it. And I was excited about it too, because I don't know, like my Sonic, all I know is the like very first Sonic Sega. So all I know is Sonic and the Dr. Robotnik, and that's it.
But you knew about Tails, didn't you?
I don't think that was in the very first Sonic. Yeah.
Was it second or third?
But I think all I played, or all I could afford to play, like buy, was the very first Sonic. So that's all I knew. So watching the second one, I'm like, oh, there's more characters. Yeah. And then she's like, oh yeah, and then there's these people, and I'm like, who are these people? So then when Shadow came, and it's Keanu Reeves, I'm like, fuck yeah. And him and his little streaks, and I'm like, ooh, I like me some Shadow, So, and then the biggin with the Knuckles, I like him too, because he kind of reminds me of in Guardians of the Galaxy, the blue guy, the big blue guy that doesn't. Drax. Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Drax because everything's so literal.
Oh yeah.
And it just makes me, I think that's funny. So
I remember playing Sonic the original, but I didn't play anything because we were in a Nintendo house, so we didn't have the Sega. But I've heard of like Knuckles and Tails from just pop culture, but not anything that I've played.
Yeah.
I remember I recently bought a thing for my PlayStation, and it had like all the classic Sega games, and I was like, shit, these things are hard.
Was it for the Switch or for the Sega?
For the PlayStation.
Okay.
The PlayStation 4. But it was like Altered Beast, and it had Sonic 1, 2, and 3, I think. And Altered Beast was like a really old one, but it was, I've forgotten how hard it was because there's no saving.
Right.
So you die 3 times, you go very back to the beginning, you're like, God damn, this is hard.
Yeah. That was us in Pitfall.
Yeah.
Like we got to a certain point, like me, my mom, and I want to say maybe my father too. I can't really remember if he played with us, but we would switch off playing. So if one person died, then the next person would continue. And we would always get to this one part and never be able to get past it. And it's like you playing for 30 minutes or an hour to get to that one part and then just die.
Oh,
and
so
it's just
frustrating.
so frustrating.
Yep.
Kids will never know.
Nope. There's
Never.
fucking save points and bullshit.
Yeah, fuck a bunch of that shit. Then they need to go from start to finish without any of that stuff. But whatever.
So I was gonna say for our, if we have any younger parent listeners, I can't imagine the kids are listening to this shit. But
I mean,
if any younger parents have never seen Spaceballs, there's a scene where President Scrooge tells Rick Moranis, who is Dark Helmet, which is the Darth Vader parody, to comb the desert looking for Lone Star, who is, I guess, Luke and Han kind of mixed together.
Yeah.
And
well, Barf.
yeah, either.
Well, Barf is, I guess, Chewbacca. Yeah.
But there's a scene where he tells him to comb the desert. So Dark Helmet gets his troops, and you see all these guys with giant combs, like, 5 foot by 10 foot plastic combs combing the desert. And he's like, have you found anything? And this one set, it's like, no. And he's like, have y'all found anything? And the second set, no. And then it goes to a pair of black guys holding a giant pick. And he's like, have y'all found anything? And the actor goes, we ain't found shit. And Kalia and I were all night long. I was like, Kalia, have you found anything? She's like, I haven't found.
And that's when it was is this racist
Yeah.
and all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot how much cussing was in the movie.
Yeah. I mean,
She's heard way worse from Auntie J. So,
Yeah.
but every time I was like, oh, I don't remember that, but because I haven't seen it in, such a long time. But
I had forgotten how old the references are in that movie.
with aliens and with
Well, all of it, like
yeah.
the VHS shit.
Yep.
Clea's never seen a goddamn VHS.
Yep.
And there's for people who haven't seen Spaceballs, there's a salute they do. And I think Jennifer and Zane and I grew up in a time where if you were going to flip someone off, you cross one arm over and put it in the crook of the elbow and lifted your arm up and then flicked them off.
Right.
That was pretty common when I was a kid.
Right.
But they don't do that anymore.
Right.
And they were doing, like, in the movie, they did that without the flicking of the bird. They, like, pulled the arm up and then waved.
Right.
And I was like, Clea, did you understand that? She's like, no, not really. I was like, well, that's how we used to flick people off back in the day. And
Yeah.
She's like, oh, really? I was like, yeah. I don't know why, but
I mean,
that's how we did it.
yeah,
But I had a really good time.
me too.
Yeah.
And I like supporting
Shenanigans.
supporting shenanigans. I knew there was a sh coming, so that's where I fucked up. But and have, like I said, again, experience.
Yeah.
I felt like it was definitely worth it, and they're just such lovely ladies that
Yeah.
I want to help in any way I can. I'm just too old to go to the later shows and stuff like that. So
Cool. So I'm sure anybody who's coming on this podcast more recently, Kim and Jessica are a lesbian wife couple. That
what? I did not
Escandalous.
know. Oh my God, I can't hang out with them no more.
But they own Shenanigans, the comedy theater here in town, and Kalia loves them, and it was so cute because Kalia went up to Kim. She's like, "I have a girlfriend." Kim was like, "Do you really?" So precious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so all good week, mostly good week. Well, this made up for a lot of it.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Like the weekend was great. I got my clothes washed in the dryer today, and
Good,
we got the groceries, and now we're doing the podcast, and we're going to eat some yummy food tonight.
some Guinness stew.
More potatoes.
So I found a
Yay.
recipe for several years ago. There's a chef, and I've not stolen, but I've used a lot of his recipes that Jennifer just loves. And one of them's a mushroom risotto,
Oh,
and the
that's
other
my
one's a
favorite.
Guinness stew, and I think I have a couple more, but I can't remember what they are at the moment.
I mean, I like the chicken spaghetti. I like the bang bang shrimp that
Yep.
Zane does because that's his signature dish. Pretty much everything that I've tasted so far, I've enjoyed.
Yeah,
But I hate to say, but my favorite definitely is that fucking risotto.
it is really
And
good.
when we went to
Disney World.
Disney, we ate at the aquarium, and it was some bougie shit on the menu.
Corn risotto, I think.
And I was like, can I get the kids' meal? Because it was just like nothing I want. They didn't have shrimp like that would and it was in a mixture that did not sound yummy to me. But I was like, I like risotto. And then it was like a corn. It was not anything like yours. And I was like, fuck a bunch of this.
And it was cold, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was like, it was not good.
Nope. Not worth the money. But we ate at better places. So I was okay with that. But yeah.
I was surprised by Disney World, too. That I was like, the food really underwhelmed me. I enjoyed the food better at Universal Studios. A lot better than I did at Disney World.
Well, we ate at the place with Lady and the Tramp. At Disney, and I got a picture of you guys doing the spaghetti kisses. Yeah. So that was wicked cute.
But I mean, that food was okay.
We ate at the Atlantis thing where we had when I had the sushi. That was the best place.
That was a Universal.
Oh, was that Universal?
No,
okay,
Universal.
Well then, you're right. Universal was the better one.
Yeah,
I can't remember I'm surprised I remembered that much of it, to be honest, because it was. We went 5 days in a row,
fucking tired,
and many miles of walking. So yeah, but yeah, I had a great time. But anyways, how was your week?
It's been good. Kalea's getting ready to go to space camp, so we had to sign her permission form she had requested couple of her friends to share her cabin, I guess it was, or what? I don't know. Is it pod? What is it, Zane? It's a pod. Yeah, Zane, my husband, used to be a counselor at space camp here in Huntsville, and as part of Kalea's school, she gets to go, and she asked if she could have her new girlfriend to be her roommate, and Jennifer and I were just teasing her about smooching in the cabin and pod or whatever.
Yep.
And she's like, "We're not gonna smooch," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell Mr. Trey or her dad to keep an eye on them so they don't smooch behind your back." But she's 11, so I'm not super worried about it.
Right. That, and then she was like, well, we're also with Everly, and Everly is mean.
Scary is what she said.
Oh, scary. And she said, Everly is scary on the inside and sweet on the outside. And I was like, oh, kind of like Auntie J. And she was like, no. I think I said that wrong. She's scary on the outside and she looks sweet, but she's scary all the time. And I'm like, oh, well then, that's not Auntie J. Is it? And she just kind of looked at me, and I was like, oh, we finna talk later. And I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so she's getting ready for that.
I'm excited for her, and she seems wicked excited about it, which makes, a lot of like, oh.
This will be her first sleepaway camp, so it'll be...
Yeah,
kind of
and then
for her.
If hopefully it works good, and then she can, be ready for Camp APAC.
She's doing another sleepaway camp.
4
this summer.
days.
Yep,
I think it is.
Yep.
So it's gonna be so weird coming in and not seeing her because.
Well, So Jennifer comes over for our listeners. Jennifer comes over pretty regularly, but you usually don't come over in the weekdays.
Well, I have been lately. Since
because you haven't got
Wesley gotten kicked out of Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
I'm just telling all his business today. I don't care.
It's all good. But yeah, I'm excited about that. And then Zane and I are our friends, EJ, who's actually been on the pod before. Him and his partner went to Chattanooga, and I was like, oh, we should go to Chattanooga. And I was like, I want to invite Jennifer, but at the same time, it's like no one will watch Wesley for you. So it's like, well, and I don't really want to go on vacation with Wesley.
Yeah.
So I apologize for not inviting you, but I was like, I don't really want to go with Wesley, and I know you're kind of stuck. So
well, when are you going?
We're just thinking of going for like one night, leaving like early Saturday, probably sometime in April.
Well, you never know what's going to happen, so
That's
I might
true.
be able to go.
Okay.
Are you spending the night?
Yeah, we're thinking of spending one night.
Okay.
And then
I would love to do that because I love
Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've done the aquarium, but I've never done Ruby Falls, and I've never done Lookout Mountain, and
Yep.
I've never done I've never done the art museum, which is right at the end of that giant. So in Chattanooga, for our listeners who are not in the Tennessee Valley area, Chattanooga has this old railroad bridge. I think it was a railroad bridge, but it's a pedestrian walkway now, and it's really pretty because it crosses the river.
Did we not do that with your mama?
Yeah, we did it with my
Okay.
mom. I was just explaining it to the listeners.
No, I wanted to make sure that I remembered correctly that we had done that with her.
Yeah. But at one end of the bridge, there's a big art museum, and they did that. It's like, oh, that sounds like fun. I was like, I bet Clea would like an art museum.
Yep.
So I was like, wait, I want to go do that.
Yep.
So that's what we're. Clea's been asked to do a road trip, so I was like, okay.
That would be good because then it's close to home and it's not
expensive.
Well,
for one night, it's
depending on what you do, but
but
and I haven't seen.
Have you been to Ruby Falls before?
I have a picture of me at Ruby Falls when I was, I don't want to say a baby, but
a child.
A child. So I don't really remember.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, I don't know. I could have made it up because I've made a lot up in my childhood that I talked to my mom about. My mom was like, "That never happened."
Come on, childhood.
And I'm like,
response.
"Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know where you got that from." So it could be because I have very lucid dreams.
Yeah, maybe.
And I just made up some shit to make up some shit.
There you go.
But there was a place where we had to crawl on our hands and knees to get to a really big opening. And it could have been another cave that we've done. And I just assume it's that because I know there's a picture of it. So you never know.
I mean, it's a commercial spot, so I can't imagine you can't crawl on your hands and knees for Ruby Falls, but we'll find out when we go.
Yeah. Hopefully I get to go with you because that would be great.
Yeah. I think it'd be it's been a while since we've gotten to do a trip because Wesley's behavior's just been so bad, so.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So, did you have anything else you want to talk about your?
No, we're already at about 30 minutes, so we'll go ahead and. I'm sure the people are tired of hearing about our week.
Okay.
So we'll, for all our exhausted listeners who are sick of hearing our bullshit,
we're going to give you a break.
Yeah, we'll be right back. And we're back. All right, Miss Jennifer, what are we drinking?
We are drinking Members Mark Malbec, Mendoza, Argentina, 2023.
Zanny and I were walking around Sam's earlier, and I was like, oh, we don't have anything to drink for the podcast that Jennifer and I were going to do today. And it was like $6, so I was like, let's go ahead and grab it.
I mean, it has a 13.5 AB alcohol, so that's pretty good.
I will say, I don't particularly love this one.
No.
I've had better Malbecs, but this one is it's a little bland.
It is a little bland. Maybe being out in the air will make it a little better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's also kind of the blandness I think is what's kind of turning me off on it.
Yeah, it says situated at the foothills of the Andes and fed by the purest water from melted snow, which is kind of cool. The vineyard produce grapes. Oh, sorry, grapes. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Okay, so y'all picture this. Sicily, 1918. Jennifer's got her phone with the light on, trying to read this really, really small fucking print. And that is why I said grapes instead of grapes.
And Jennifer desperately needs her readers on to read, read this shit.
So grapes of outstanding quality, made to enjoy. This wine with spiced rum, red plum, I put them together, flavors, combined with its silky texture, pairs perfectly with most cuisines. They didn't put an S in that, but So yeah, Argentinian Malbec.
Yeah, it's
$6. I mean, I wouldn't buy it, but if someone gave it to me to drink, I'll drink it.
Yeah,
that usually happens a lot. I don't care. I just drink.
Yeah, and I'm we're not really earning any money on this podcast. So I was like, it's kind of hard for me to let's spend $20 on a bottle of wine.
Right.
So I tend to get the cheaper stuff, but it's also we kind of enjoy the cheaper stuff. I don't know. We end up getting a lot of crap.
Yeah, but it also, you have to like when we have our guests.
Yeah.
And they're in the house, that tends to be a little bit more expensive because it's a better quality. It's a cocktail actually, instead of like usually a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Unless you're, Judy Booty and you want to drink some
Josh.
Which, SNL just makes fun of, which is just hilarious to me. Now I understand the joke.
So for any of our listeners, if you have any recommendations of wine, that's something that, please let us know.
Yeah.
Or send us something. Shit. If
Yeah.
you send me an email, I'll give you an address you could ship it to.
Yeah. Well, can they ship to Alabama? Or will we have to get like a P.O. box in like Tennessee and have to drive up to that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, well, we'll figure it out.
But yeah.
Let us know if you got some recommendations.
Send us some shit. We would love to, and then we would, brag about.
Oh yeah,
your
call you out and say, hey, they recommended this.
Love you, Benjamin. Like that.
All right, Miss Jeffrey.
All right.
So we're doing Reddit post today. You're up first.
I'm up first. Let me pull it up.
So for our listeners, I try and pick stories I think are funny or interesting that generate conversation, or sometimes they're just so appropriate for like one of us.
Yep.
This one I picked just because we've done this before and I wanted to talk about it.
Okay. So this is the Ask Parents subreddit from Hurricane Claudine.
Carolina.
Damn, I got to put up my Carolina.
Do you need Zane's readers?
No, I had to pull up the put up the not contrast, but the light.
Oh, okay.
So it says, question: should I let my daughter miss school for an event? My daughter, 15, will be a sophomore this upcoming year and is a huge hockey fan. She has asked me if she could go to a certain game because her favorite team will be playing her absolute favorite player and someone she looks up to. The only problem is that she would have to miss 2 consecutive days of school as the game is on a Thursday and the location of the game is 3 hours away, so there is no way she could go on Friday. Okay. She is a straight A student, second in her class, and I know she won't get behind in school, so I was wondering your thoughts. First thought is why... okay. So I guess she would miss Thursday and Friday. Maybe the game is on Friday.
Yeah, maybe.
The writing sometimes fucks me up, and I'm a huge
stickler for good grammar.
Yeah, correct grammar and like read your shit before you post it kind of person. But I will say we took all 5 days to take the kids to Disney, and my child is at the time he was a CD student, but we wanted them to have the experience.
Yeah.
And if your child is a straight A student,
second in her class,
and you know that she's going to do her shit, let her fucking go.
Yeah.
Because, sorry.
I was just going to say, I didn't read I read the first sentence or two. I didn't read all of it, but I was just like, now that you read it fully, I was like, why is this even a question?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I guess if you're like a tiger mom and really worried about your kid's performance or some shit like that, but she's a sophomore.
Right.
And this was posted 8 months ago. So that would put it, God, I don't even know what that put that. That would put it, this is March. So that would put it like beginning of the school year. So like, who the fuck cares? A couple of days.
Right.
I mean, I hate to say it, but like I used to skip school and I still graduated like top third of my class.
There you go.
So fuck it.
And if she's responsible like it looks like and she really wants to do it, give her that experience.
Yeah. I don't think she's gonna miss much from 2 days.
Right. And experiences are definitely, and adventures are definitely worth it if they really want to do it. And this shows a little bit of trust in your child.
Yeah.
Hey, you're going to have to do that work. And you don't get truancy yet. I think it takes
6
6 days.
Yeah, or at least in Alabama.
Yeah, in Alabama. I don't know where you are, but Definitely. Let her go.
Yeah.
Let her have the time of her fucking life, and then she will have that memory forever.
Yeah.
And then if you don't let her go, she will grudge the fuck out of you,
She
most
will resent you for
likely,
that one.
for the rest of her life, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, let her go.
One of the top comments that I thought was very apropos was the person said, "I'm a high school teacher, and I would love for this to be why a student misses my class instead of just wanting a day off like some of my students do." And I was like, I totally agree. For something that special, fuck it.
Right. And, you know, it's not like she's, you know, leaving to go do drugs or to go, you know, sneak with her boyfriend, and she's not skipping. She's asking your permission.
Yeah.
This is sounds like a very good 15-year-old girl.
Yeah, this shit.
So
Be lucky you got a kid like this.
Right. Yeah, definitely do it. That I would say yes on that
And
one.
a lot of high schoolers get like a number of days they can miss to go to visit college campuses.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? I mean, like, they're not missing out on anything. So the school kind of anticipates. And frankly, the schools, like, half the time, I'm not going to say I feel like not high schools, but schools in general, like, they could probably compress their teaching to a lot tighter, but they have to draw it out because the number of days that are required to have kids in school, and there's a lot of fluff days in there. So I don't think she's going to miss shit.
Yep. And we miss shit for the weather's going to be stormy, so the kids aren't going to school.
Yep.
And then nothing happens, and the kids don't do shit. Because I don't know about y'all. We talked about this on, I think, the last episode.
Yeah.
Or the episode before, I can't remember, but I can't do homework with Wesley. I can't do schoolwork with Wesley. COVID fucking sucked. It was really, really hard. Luckily, his IEP teacher was the best and would sit, but then I would still have to sit and make sure, hey, listen to her. Hey, listen to her. Hey, listen to her. Get your work done. You don't have to do that with this 15-year-old.
Yeah. No, treasure this and reward it.
Yeah. This is a good reward. Your straight A's. This is your reward for straight A's.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Okay. Your turn.
Okay. So mine is from the parenting subreddit, and the username is OMG Roller Skates. It's not roller skates. It's Loller Skates. LOL. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I picked this one because this is my sentiment exactly.
Uh-huh.
So the title is, I am so tired of plastic crap.
Yep.
Post says, another day, another birthday at my son's preschool, another bag of cheap plastic garbage comes home. A spinning top, which might get used once, 2 little tiny metal ball mazes, which have provided 10 minutes of frustration before they are trash, and some kind of some kind of disc launcher, all in a little plastic bag. Just garbage, garbage, garbage. Manufactured and shipped from overseas, slave labor for what? More trash, more microplastics in the ocean and our bodies. Gives me existential anxiety. Why do we do it? Sure, they love to dump out the bags and see what's inside. It gives them a few minutes of joy, but why? Why have we all agreed on this? We have not all agreed on this.
I was about to say, we don't agree. No one gives us the option to be like, don't give my kid this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, they just give it to them. And then the little thing underneath, I'm so tired of plastic crap, was child 4 to 9 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's always, we're just going to give it to them. We don't ask the parents.
Yeah.
They just give it to them.
Well, even at Shenanigans, when we went to the show the other night, they gave us a comb. Yep. Kalia is black with fucking dreadlocks.
Yep.
She ain't gonna brush her hair. I'm bald. Zane doesn't use a comb, or if he does, he's got his own comb. You ain't gonna use a comb. So it's
I barely have any hair if anybody watches the videos. So
yeah, I remember when we first got Kalia, the foster family gave us 2 boxes full of just plastic shit. Mm-hmm. And I haven't told Kalia this, but I went through it and I threw away most. If it was like just a dangling, not a dangling, but like a little piece of plastic that didn't have an obvious like connection to something else, like a bigger toy,
right?
Trash.
Yeah.
And I had to, every time we clean out Clea's room, it is a gigantic fight. Yeah. Just to get, I was like, you haven't played with this in 3 years. Can we please trash it? No, it's important to me. Like, it is just crap. And in a year, you will throw it away and not even care about it. And it drives me in fucking insane. Yeah. Oh, God. So.
And that's trauma.
Trauma?
Trauma.
Oh, hers?
For her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
And memories.
Yeah.
Me and, what was her foster sister's name?
Oh, Imani.
Imani. We played with this. So it's just memories for her too that, she played with it. But out of sight, out of mind, I think sometimes.
Oh, totally.
So that's why sometimes you're just like, well, you started doing if you get a doll, you got to get rid of like 3 dolls.
Yeah.
And that was going okay.
That was going okay, but she stopped asking for dolls.
Right.
So
now we got to figure out another. You get something new, you got to do this.
Yeah.
And anytime I give her anything, I ask you first if it's okay that I give it to her. Because for Valentine's Day, I got this really cool, I don't know about y'all, but I love Nightmare Before Christmas. Like Jack Skeleton and Sally and all of them. I just love them. And I got this little, it was a cellophane basket of stuff. Well, I thought there was like some chocolates in it or something because there was like a heart-shaped box at the bottom. But I ended up giving most of it to Kalia, but asking if it was okay because it was like stickers. It was a journal. The heart thing at the bottom was an empty box. And I was like, put all the stuff I've given you into this box so that you can show Grandpa that you are using it with the stuff that Auntie J gave you. Like, I think I kept one thing out of all the stuff that was in there because it was not for a 43-year-old.
Yeah.
At all. I don't do stickers. I don't journal. I don't like to write. I'm not going to use a book, And then the heart-shaped thing, I'm not going to put anything in it because it would just be something else that my son would try to look and see what's inside of it and steal or whatever. So, but, I mean, you could maybe talk to the teacher and just be like, hey, can we just, which is sad for the kid, though, because then the kid's like, I didn't get one and everybody else got one and they were playing with it. Or maybe just take it away at the end of the class period if they're playing with it. I don't know.
Someone, one of the top comments, and I thought this was actually kind of genius, said, this person said, I collect this stuff throughout the year, then give them away with Halloween candy.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's a really good idea.
Someone else can throw the shit away.
Yeah. I will say, for this parent, your kid's in that 49 year, Kalia was real bad about that shit. As she's gotten older and the tastes progress, like the cheap plastic crap, I don't have to deal with as much.
Yeah.
It gets like books, and she just bought CDs for some god awful reason. With her, she has an allowance, so she bought it with her own money.
Right.
And she was going to buy a fucking LP.
Yeah.
But I was like, you don't have a record player.
She doesn't have a CD player though.
Yeah, she can play it on the PS4 if she wanted to. But even still, it's just like she bought it and she's never done it. I was like, and I told her, it was like, you have the money. We could get you a little CD player if you want. Right. I don't mind that if you wanted to buy that. But she's like, I'll just put it on my list for Christmas. I'm like, okay. But I will say it ends when they hit about tween years and the taste and the taste and toys progresses.
Yeah, the no more plastic, things.
They get more expensive.
Yeah.
But they're also slightly more durable, and you can relate with them a bit better.
Right.
But yeah,
I mean, it is a waste of money, I think.
Oh, it's just plastic
because it just
shit.
ends up breaking and being thrown in the garbage can.
I got so sick of those goddamn Happy Meal toys.
Oh yeah,
because they're just like play with them once and then you forget them, but it's like, oh, we can't possibly get rid of it. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's gotten a little bit better
because she doesn't do Happy Meal toys anymore. She's bigger.
Yeah. So, but I will say I went through her room a few times, and if it was shit that I knew she hadn't played with in forever, and especially in a bin that she hasn't touched in a while,
right,
just throw it. And
just find some stuff and be like, okay, this goes in the garbage.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably terrible of me to say that, but I would just throw shit away because I knew she would forget about it or she'd be like, oh, where did it go? I don't know.
What'd you do with it? Maybe one of your sisters took it. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
As I was just like, they forget about it. So you're right. You're going to drown in a sea of plastic shit.
Yeah.
And I think it's terrible for the environment.
Definitely.
But it's the world we live in. And until they start taxing plastic a little bit better or something, nothing's going to change.
I agree.
All right, Miss Jennifer, what's your next one?
All right. So it's the Ask Parents subreddit. And does that say IED 117?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the username she's talking
about. Sorry, I was just making sure I was reading the letters right. So it says, my kids won't self-start in the morning. And it's parent to parent is what did you say that was called?
Flare.
Oh,
do you
I
see
forgot
why?
the flare.
Do you see why I picked this one for you?
Well, no, I don't understand.
Please continue, Jennifer.
I don't understand at all. Okay, so I am so tired of my big
boy. I think it's boy girl twin.
Oh, okay. My bad. I didn't understand the slash. Boy girl twin 13-year-olds in the morning. It started last spring. Mine started at 12. That's me. I got to the point that I was having to drive them at least 3 times per week because they kept missing the bus. Threats of taking away technology and earlier bedtimes cannot compel my kids to get up and dressed without my continually prompting them. Preach, sister, preach. That was me. I also tried the reverse, telling them if they get up and dressed without issue, they can earn technology. McDonald's for dinner, an extra half hour later for bed, picking something from Amazon. I know they want these things, but it still never works. I even tried, hey, if you get up early, I'll take you to McDonald's to get you a breakfast sandwich before we go to school.
That sounds familiar.
That didn't work. That was me saying that part right there. I hate starting my days like this. Yes. It is the hardest because you're already sleepy, tired, trying to get yourself fucking ready, and then you're screaming at your kids to get ready. That's me again. I feel so much resentment that I am spending an hour and a half every morning running up and down stairs to get 2 kids to brush their teeth, wash their faces, and get dressed. They have breakfast at school. They're also starting to get more disrespectful, not answering when I call up the stairs and mumbling things under their breath that they won't repeat.
Boy, that sounds familiar, doesn't it, Jay?
Oh my God. Yes. My younger son has heard them telling me to shut up underneath their breath. Oh, I get that. Dead in the face, not even underneath their breath. That was me again. This is not going in a good direction. What are your thoughts? What am I doing wrong? How do I achieve peace in the morning, or am I dreaming of unicorns? You're dreaming of unicorns, in my opinion. I was told by the caseworker that I needed to get him an alarm clock, my 14-year-old, that does the same thing that your 13-year-olds do, so they could be held responsible for their actions. Alarm clock should go off, and they should get up like they're supposed to.
Jesus Christ.
That shit don't work.
No, especially with a stubborn teenager that won't accept no for an answer.
Exactly. So, in the post, she talks about like making them wash their face and brush their teeth. Fuck it.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it. Let them go to school with sticky breath and acne eventually.
Yeah.
Just to get them dressed and get into the fucking car is the goal in my house.
Yeah.
I don't care if he doesn't brush his teeth, if he doesn't take a shower, because if he wants to be the fucking stinky kid, he's going to be the fucking stinky kid. Because I've been dealing with this for 2 years, and I have not found a way to get this.
Yeah.
Because he pretty much has 50 minutes every day. I get up, I open his bedroom door, I turn on his light, I say good morning, loud enough for him to hear, and then I go get ready. Luckily, I don't have stairs, and my bathroom is right next to his bedroom. So after I get out of the shower and I'm drying off, I have this tub of like face cream that's really loud, and I like bang it on the wall and on the tile of the bathroom, and I scream out, "Shower."
Yep.
Then when I get dressed, I go in because he still hasn't gotten up. I pull the sheets off. And I throw, well, not sheets, but the blanket. And I do not put the blanket on his bedroom floor anymore because then he gets up, takes the blanket, and lays it back down. I put it in the fucking living room. So he would have to get up to get it out of the living room. Then I holler, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, no more shower time. And I go take the shower nozzle off his shower.
Yep.
Then I yell 10 minutes. And then I yell 5 minutes, get your booty up and get dressed. Let's go.
Do you really say booty?
I mean, maybe sometimes. I guess it depends. But I've also, because my bathroom is right next to his shower, I've gotten, I found my external speaker thingy that makes my music louder.
Right.
So right now I'm jamming to like Zombies by the Cranberries and like it played Purple Rain. So like I am singing at the top of my lungs. I am jamming out in my bathroom, and he hates it. And I think that helps.
Yep.
And it makes me feel better because, you know what? I don't give a fuck if you think I can't sing. I'm having fun with my music. And I know it's music he doesn't know for the most part.
Yep.
And that's what I do. I don't know what you can do because, 13 stairs.
Hell year.
I mean, go get yourself one of those like megaphones.
I was about to say, because I remember when Wesley stayed with us for a hot minute
for my foot surgery.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would go into his room where he was sleeping, and I would put my phone on an alarm, and I would just put it right next to his head until he got out of bed. And he got out of bed, but he's also the type of person, it's like he'll obey a new person for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then after he's gotten used to, he starts getting real bad.
Right.
So I think we had him for just short enough that he was still willing to obey us.
And then he told me, I think you had him for 2 weeks for me because y'all were just fucking awesome because I could barely take care of myself because I couldn't walk on my foot.
Yeah.
And you took him for 2 weeks instead of the 1 week I just had asked for. And he said if I had to stay there longer, I would have, probably done some bad things.
Yeah.
So,
but someone now I don't know how realistic this is as a solution, but someone in the comments actually said, "Been there. The only way to teach them is for them to feel the urgency because the consequences hit them hard. The consequences have to come from the school. I gave the school a call and asked if they could implement detention for any lates that I hadn't approved, and it worked." I mean, that sounds great. If you don't have an insane child like Wesley, it might work. But I don't know that a school would implement a detention just because the parent asked for it.
Yeah, I asked the school not to give my son any devices, and they still fucking do it when he is straight up manipulating them because he has his laptop. So good for you to have a
school system that does that.
But I don't know many that would, to be honest.
And maybe if you're outside of Alabama.
Well, and that could be, a big part of it because I don't see it. But
I think either you're going to have to make it so uncomfortable for them to stay in bed, like get a fucking air horn and some ear guards.
Spray them with a water bottle.
Yeah, you're going to have to make it so goddamn miserable for them to stay in bed. Mm-hmm. And don't let them get back into bed.
Right.
And be like, you don't have to you don't have to wash your face or brush your goddamn teeth, but you ain't going back to bed.
Right.
Or you can just go to bed in the car.
Right.
Get out of bed, get dressed, go get in the car, and go to sleep. I don't care.
Whatever.
But yeah, it's...
Don't have your breakfast because you're sleeping at the whatever. Because I saw a lot, there were some comments in there that was talking about how, like, you know, oh, you should implement a bedtime. Do they have tablets before? It doesn't fucking matter. They're going to do what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. You can try all you want to get these kids, you know, in like a routine. Like, okay, well, we're gonna stop, you know, the tablets at this time.
Yeah.
But they find workarounds. Mm-hmm. So I really, you know, good luck to you. But I have not figured it out, so I don't know how.
I will say, someone posted in here something I had to read because I just thought it was, I don't know. It says, the commenter said, you're coming at this from a compliance perspective. You need to shift into a conflict resolution perspective. You wouldn't scream at or punish an adult. You talk it out, make compromises and a plan, and have check-in conversations about how it's going. Do that.
Do they have kids?
I was about to say, that sounds great.
Do they understand?
Yeah, that sounds great for an adult.
Yeah.
Not for a fucking teenager.
No.
I mean, you might start off like heavy-handed with the consequences or like being super annoying in the morning.
Right.
And then be like, okay, I'm willing to back off if we can come to some sort of conflict resolution.
Right.
But teenagers are just god awful.
Yeah.
So teenagers are awful, and yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a rough road to hoe. And middle school especially is just tough.
Yeah. So good luck.
Good luck.
I hope everything works out okay. It is hard, and like I said, good luck to you.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
All right. So the last one comes from the Ask Parents subreddit from Gray Month 543.
Okay.
And the title of the post is, would you let your adult child move back home with you? And the flair is, so this person's not a parent. So I picked this one for me.
Why would they be asking if they're not a parent?
Probably because they're like a 19-year-old kid or something like that. And asking, would you let your kids move back in? I don't know. Let me read it. Let me see what it says. Okay. So the post says, let's say your fully adult child, 21 plus, had moved out and were living on their own, but for some reason became homeless. They were not on drugs, mentally ill, etc., and are a well-behaved and respectful person. They just had a stroke of bad luck with their job, rent, etc., and it ended up in their car on the streets. Would you let them come back and live with you for a time, or would you have them figure it out on their own? By on their own, maybe you would give them advice, but no money and a place to stay. I mean, the fact that you're qualifying that with no mental illness, no drugs, not addicted, and well-behaved and respectful.
Right.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I moved back in with my mom and dad for a couple of times.
And your son is here.
Yeah.
You know, with his baby.
Yeah. And as he walks by, we'll let him know, I love you. You drive me crazy, but I love you.
I love you. You don't drive me crazy, though.
Yeah, I have no problem, especially if you're respectful and you like help out. And because like when Justin dropped out of high school, we were frustrated and we didn't know what to do.
Right.
And I think the hardest part was because he didn't get a job and we weren't sure what to do. Mm-hmm. Luckily, we didn't have to go to an extreme measures because he got one and he's been mostly gainfully employed ever since. And he wants to be independent.
Right.
But I have no problem letting a kid move back in. And I did it with my parents. I moved when now my parents were a different situation. They're pretty well off and they actually helped me after college and helped me with some money for a few years. Yeah. But after, when I started grad school, I lived with them for a little bit. And then when I lived with them for a little bit again. But I've been, fully independent since 27. But yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I'm wondering if this person was actually an adult child and were forbidden from moving back in.
And maybe the parents were like, nope,
Yeah.
we're not going to do it.
I don't know. If Wesley were not insane and he were like 21 years old, would you let him move back in?
Did you just say if Wesley was not the same?
Was not insane? Because he crazy?
Um,
Well, let's say if Wesley was like Justin. Mm-hmm. And he like moved out, but like had something happen and couldn't afford to stay there. Would you let him move back in?
if he was like Justin, yes,
Yeah.
I would. Because, I let my sister move in, to my house. I've had, all my House of Wayward Gays, move in. So I don't see the difference in them living with me, trying to better their life, and me helping them
Yep.
as like my child. At this point in my life, if Wesley were to be like, I want to move back home, I'd be like, no, in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah. Wesley like is a very special situation just because
Yes.
he's so extreme.
Yeah.
I have never met a child this like out of control.
Yeah. So, it's a
Case by case.
case by case, definitely. But like if you contribute, you help, you are thankful, because I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Where a lot of kids don't, they feel like it's a privilege,
Or they're entitled to
or that
it.
they're entitled to move back in with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm like, oh, hell no. Because, no. You are a grown up. You need to figure your shit out. And you need to grow the fuck up. I mean, I'm sorry, but, I have a different experience because I never moved back in with my mom after I left. So I don't have that.
You don't have that life experience.
Right. Thank you. I'm so glad you know me so well for me to be able to say something and you
Yep.
put it into the words that I needed it to be put into.
I will say, now, as much as I love Justin and I want him to be successful, like if he was not helpful, or if he was like entitled, or if he was having other problems like that,
Right.
I would still probably let him live with us. But I would be like, okay, you can sleep at our house, but you have to be gone during the day.
Right.
Because, like, I don't want you sitting around the house. And if you're an able-bodied person, you need to be out there trying to
Get a job. Right.
Not sitting around doing nothing.
Right.
And we were getting close to that situation with Justin where it was like, okay, you're like doing nothing with your life. But we thankfully didn't have to.
Yeah.
But, and partly because I knew that if we forced him out, and I didn't want to, but it was
Right.
like, I knew if we forced him out, he would go live with his sister. And I was scared, she barely could take care of herself.
And then how is he supposed to take care of, or how is she supposed to take care of
Him.
a grown man
Yeah.
and two
So-
babies and,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that.
Now, I will say if there was abuse, like with Wesley, not abuse, like you beating Wesley, but like the abuse that he's heaped up on you.
Right.
Or if like with my brother, where there was theft of thousands of dollars,
Right.
or if there was drug addiction or alcohol, I'd be like, no. I'd be like, I'm sorry, you have to figure this out on your own. I'm not.
You got to not pave your own way, but you have to.
You have to hit.
You have to be
bottom.
an adult.
Yeah. Especially with the drug addiction, it's like you have to hit rock bottom. You have to be ready to change before I'm even willing to consider. And even then, I'd be like, I might help you figure something out.
Yeah, and then at that point, you're worried more about the kids than you are about him.
Yeah.
In essence, because you don't want him to use them in any way or
Harm them.
harm them. No, I don't think Kyle would ever harm Clea.
Oh, we're talking about my brother.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think that,
He would neglect her, I think, more than anything.
yeah, I think it would be more of a, oh, I need to, think about this and, like I will call mom and tell mom, hey, get your son.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I was being silly on that, but if you just have to prove yourself, that's the main thing in my mind.
Yeah.
Is that you have to prove that you can be responsible enough to go job hunting, go look, show me that you've looked, put me down as a fucking reference, let them fucking call me.
Seriously.
Like, I need to see that you're fucking trying.
Yeah.
Because I'm paying for everything and I shouldn't have to pay for everything.
Yep.
But that's my opinion. And that's what I'm sticking with.
I don't think, I don't think we're too, like, what's the word? I don't think our opinions are, like, extreme or anything out of the left field for anybody, so.
Yeah. And I mean, it's all different situations.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can't say this on this person or this on this person because you don't know their life.
Yeah.
You don't know what they've been through. We've adopted. We have people who have trauma in their lives. It's not just, cut and dry kind of thing. You kind of had to teach, just in essence, kind of how to be a man and to understand and ask for help, which was the hardest thing that I felt like he
Struggles with.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, he still struggles
And
with that.
I mean, he still does, but you guys have done so much for him and his sister, and they acknowledge that and they know that.
Yeah, and I love him for that.
And they know, that their dad, because you are their dad, loves them, lets them move back in, and is, trying.
Yeah.
So your case, a little different, and I understand, I do know that, like, at one point, you're going to be like, you're 50? You're not living in my house no more kind of thing.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, like, the support group that Jennifer and I go to, there's one of the ladies, she was talking about downsizing from a 6-bedroom house to something that's much smaller. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for all the kids to be out of the house so Zane and I can downsize to like a condo where I don't have to do yard work and it's too small for the kids to move the fuck back in.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
But I mean, that's down the road. It's not like anytime soon kind of thing, but it's just, you don't really think about things like that until it gets there, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I mean, that's why we're doing this podcast.
That's right.
Yep.
Because, I mean, we don't know shit.
Yep.
And
that's why it's called A Guide to Poor Parenting.
Right. Yeah. Not a guide to good parenting. We're trying to show you we also struggle with everything that you're struggling with.
Yeah.
Because parenting is fucking hard.
Yep.
And as that one lady said, when you're done, you're done.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can, I mean, as Jason said, I've said it so many times.
What have you said,
I'm going to say throughout the whole of
parenting. Having Wesley?
Yeah, I'm done. And then, you stick it out. But there's only so much you can do and almost so much you can stick out before you're just like, he doesn't want me to stick it out. Or,
Well, why don't we save that for another episode?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you know, it really just depends on the child on that point of, do you let them back in your house as they age?
Totally case by case.
That's where I was kind of try to go with that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I went on a tangent. I got ADHD. Leave me alone.
Never. All right. So this is a good spot. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And we're back.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So if you have any fun, for all our listeners out there, if you have any all of you, if you have any funny stories about your kids,
or if you need some bad parenting advice, or if you have any ideas for topics or want to send us some wine or any snacks
snack ideas,
or anything, because we really want to get some emails.
We want to hear from y'all.
Yeah.
Please email us at, oh, Jesus, can I read this? Email us at guidetopoorparenting@gmail.com. Yep. And come season 6, we'll have a phone number. You can call in and tell us your story times and your topic ideas or wine ideas.
Exactly. And if you don't want your story, like if you're like me and you don't like the sound of your voice, there's a transcript so we can read what you have called in about.
If you're calling in and you don't want your voice on the podcast, fucking email me. Don't call in. Well,
but still, maybe they don't want to email. You know, maybe they'd rather say it instead of emailing it. I was trying, Jason, damn it. All right, so you're doing our snack because I did our
cocktail.
Malbec.
Yep. So Zay and I went shopping today, and I was in the checkout line, and I was like, oh, we haven't done, I know Jennifer likes milk chocolate. So they had these, what are these called?
Lindor.
Wait. No, it says Lindt on here. Where did I get Lindor from?
Oh.
No, it says Lindt Lindor.
Lindor.
Yeah, Lindt Lindor. Milk chocolate truffle bar.
Yep.
They're very rich.
They're irresistibly smooth.
Well, they're good.
They're just so yummy.
They're very rich.
All my bar. Mm-hmm. So yummy.
So yummy. All right, Jennifer. So we just had our snack time. Now it's story time. Tell us.
So this doesn't have anything to do with any of the Reddit comments or stories that we read, because I don't know what I'm reading until I open the shit up. Because I think, like, real time.
Where are you going with this one, Jay?
When I read them, the reactions, the real time reactions are genuine.
Right. Okay.
Because I've never read it. You have to, because you have to give me something to fucking read.
Right.
So.
Okay. Yep.
Damn. You just called me out.
Well, you've been rambling a bit today, so I just want to make sure get you back on topic.
You're so mean to me.
I know, but you love me.
All right. So story time. So I want to say I was probably like 4 or 5. And me and a friend went to some dude's house because he offered us candy. And I get home and my mom was like, where'd you get that sucker from? And I was like, oh, me and so, we walked over to that dude's apartment and went inside and hung out, and he gave us candy.
Jesus Christ.
And she's like,
the fuck?
Huh?
The fuck did you just say to me?
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, I've told you since before you could even fucking talk, you don't go to strangers' houses. And I was like, well, I was with my friend.
And he offered candy.
And he wasn't a stranger. My friend said he knew him, which I don't know if he did or not. I don't think anything happened but us getting candy. Maybe dude was trying to groom us. I don't know. But my mom whooped me just a hand on bottom because she had never whooped me before or after.
Right.
But when she tells me the story, I'm like, I would have beat the fuck out of you, out of me, as you.
Yep.
But she was crying as she's whooping me. And I think maybe she might have hit my bottom, and not bare bottom, but with like, clothes on. Mm-hmm. She might have done it 2 or 3 times. And she was like, when they say it hurts me more than it hurts you, it definitely hurt me more than it hurt you. It scared you, which is what the fuck I wanted. And I told you, if you ever even think about going to dude's house or anybody's house without my permission or without an adult that you know, I'm going to do a lot more than what I just did. And I never went into a stranger's house again because
Lord.
I got scared. But that was my whooping story. And I don't know if I've told it before, but that is something that has stuck with me for almost 40 years. That she, I just ran. He gave us candy.
Oh, yeah.
And it just scared, it scares me thinking about, like, anything could have happened.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Because, this is the 80s. This would have been, like, 85, 86.
Yeah.
So, like, fuck, anything could have happened, so.
Oh, Jesus.
But, yeah, that's my story.
That's a good one.
I don't know.
Well, it was
bad on me, but,
It was a interesting story.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, for all our listeners, thanks for listening to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting.
If you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on.
And if you don't like our podcast, just like when our kids complain that they don't want to... let me start that again. And if you don't like our podcast, just like when our kids complain that they don't want to take swim lessons, even though they're terrified of getting into water where they can't touch the bottom.
Tough shit.
You're going to learn to swim.
You've actually already taken fucking swim lessons. You need to take them again because you're still fucking scared.
God damn it.
Tough shit.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.